Hello viewers, thank you for visiting this channel and for opening this video. This channel is dedicated to solving national and international mathematics examinations with more focus on Ethiopian secondary school leaving certificate examination and Ethiopian university exit exams. In this specific video, which is my 14th teaching video, I am gonna to solve 8 problems from the 2024 Ethiopian Secondary School Leaving Certificate Examination on Mathematics from Booklet Code 096. And this is part 6 on this booklet code, and it will be the last teaching video for this booklet code. I have already solved 52 problems from this booklet, and in this video, which is the last for this booklet code, I am going to solve 8 problems, namely problems 51, 52 up to 57 and problem number 60. Okay, before I start solving the problems, I kindly ask you to subscribe the channel and to like this video. እንዲህ አይነት ቲችንግ ቪዲዮዎች ቶሎ እንዲደርሳችሁ ከፈለጋችሁ ይህን ቻናል ሰብስክራይብ እንድታደርጉ እመክራችኋለሁ። Let us start with problem number 51. Which of the following gives the definition of integration for a function? To answer this problem, simply we have to recall what integration means, definition of integration. What's integration? In grade 12 student textbook, we have this definition: the process of finding f of x from its derivative, f derivative of x, is known as anti-differentiation or integration. That means, given the derivative of a function, then if we are asked to find the function, this process or operation is called integration. So integration is finding a function whose derivative is known. If f prime of x, derivative of f at x is known, what's the function? This process going from f derivative of x to f of x is called anti-differentiation or integration. So integration is a reverse operation of differentiation. For example, the derivative of x squared is 2x. So 2x is derivative for x squared. If we reverse this, it becomes the integration of 2x is x squared. Integration of 2x is x squared. You can add some constant to it. So integration is a reverse process of differentiation. It is a process of reversing the derivative of a function. The answer is A. Not at a point, the derivative function, not derivative, it's not rate of change, it's a derivative function, no. So the correct answer is A. Problem number 52, which of the following is the mean deviation about the mean of the given data, the data given below? What is the mean deviation of? Mean deviation about the mean for this data. So mean deviation is one type of measure of central tendency, and mean deviation itself is divided into many types: mean deviation about the mean deviation about median, mean deviation about mode. We have different types of mean deviations, but in this case we are asked mean deviation about the mean. So we have to know the formula for mean deviation about the mean in order to solve this problem. Mean deviation about the mean means is given by this formula: summation of each item in the data minus mean of the data over n. N means number of values in the data. We can apply this formula. We can organize the given data in this manner in table form. Frequency table, discrete frequency table for the given data is the data values. The values in this data range from 9 up to 15, and 9 occurs twice, 12 occurs twice, 15 occurs twice, the rest values occur only one. Each of the remaining values occurs only once. በዚህ ዴታ ውስጥ 15 ሁለት ጊዜ አፒር ያደርጋል። ፍሪኩዌንሲው 2 ነው። 9 እንደዚሁ 12ም ሁለት ጊዜ ሌሎች አንዳንድ ጊዜ ብቻ ነው አፒር የሚያደርጉት። ስለዚህ በቴብል መልክ ስናስቀምጠው ይሄን ዴታ ፍሪኩዌንሲ ቴብል ይባላል። ይሄ ግሩፕድ አይደለም። ግሩፕድ የሚባለው በኢንተርቫል ሲቀመጥ ነው። ያን ሁሉንም ቫልዩ ሊስት አድርገን ፍሪኩዌንሲያቸውን ካስቀመጥ ሲምፕሊ ፍሪኩዌንሲ ቴብል ነው። ይሄ ዲስክሪት ፍሪኩዌንሲ ቴብል። ስለዚህ ቴብሉን ለስራ እንዲመቸን ነው እንጂ ግዴታ አይደለም እንደዚህ መስራት። So to find mean deviation means to calculate summation of frequency times value over summation of frequency. By the way, summation is not up to infinity. It has to be only up to, in this case, we have how many values? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Up to 7. This index should be not infinity, but 7. Anyway, when we apply the formula, it becomes fk times xk means frequency times value. fk times xk, 2 times 9, 18. In the same manner, we have 10, 11, 24, 13, 1 times 13, 1 times 14, 14, 2 times 15, 30. So the numerator becomes 120 when we add these numbers. And the denominator is number of observations, summation of frequencies. 2 plus 1 is 4, plus 2 6, plus 2 8, plus 2 10. So the denominator is 10, numerator is 120. When we simplify this, we get 12. So this is the mean of this data. In order to calculate mean deviation, first we have to know mean. Mean deviation means we calculate the difference between each value and the mean, and we put in absolute value, and then we find average of those absolute values. Again, in this case, the upper index, it should not be infinity. Number of observations, number of values, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is low, it has to be only up to 7. There are only 7 terms. 7 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it should not be up to infinity. This is a mistake. So mean deviation means difference between each item and mean. Mean is 12. For example, this item is 9. 9 minus 12 times, we have 9 twice. Frequency of 9 is 2, so we multiply by 2. Similarly, we do the same thing for the rest. 10 minus 12, 11 minus 12, 12 minus 12 times 2, because the frequency of 12 is 2. 30 minus 12, 40 minus 12, 50 minus 12 times 2. When we add the numerator, we get 18. The denominator is the number of observations, summation of frequencies. We get 10. When we simplify this, we get 1.8. So the answer is C. Next problem. Give us the following group data. Which of the following is the standard deviation of the data? We have a group data, and we are asked to compute the standard deviation of this data. So we have to apply the formula for standard deviation of group data. Standard deviation is square root of variance, and variance means if the data is not grouped, if it is discrete frequency distribution, we can apply this formula: summation of frequency of x times x minus x bar square, where x bar means mean, over summation of frequencies, means number of observations. This is formula for variance. And standard deviation is square root of variance, square root of this number. This is if the data is discrete. I mean, if it's not grouped. If it's not grouped, if we have list of values along with their frequencies, we can apply these formulas. But in our case, we have to follow this formula. This is given, I think, in grade 12 student textbook. You can follow these steps. For group data, we can follow these procedures. First, find the class mark for each class. Then find the mean of the group data. Then find the deviation of each class mark from the mean and square it. Then find the sum of the squared deviations. Then divide the sum in D by summation of frequencies, means the number of observations. We can follow this step. Class mark. What's class mark? Class mark means average of lower class limit and upper class limit. Lower class limit in this case, for example, is 8 for the first row. Lower class limit is 8, upper class limit is 12, average is 10. So for the next is 15, then 20, then 25, then 30. These are class marks for the classes. Step 1 is over. Step 2b, find the mean of the group data. Mean. For how can we find mean for group data? We multiply class marks by their corresponding frequencies. 10 times 3, 30. And we do the same thing for the rest. When we multiply class marks by their frequencies, by class frequencies, we form this column. This column is obtained. The numbers in this column are obtained. Then we add these numbers. We get 400. And if we add, divide by total number of observation, summation of frequency, 20, we get 20. So the mean of this data is 20. ክላስ ማርኮች የየክላሱ ተወካዮች ናቸው። ይሄ ማለት ለምሳሌ በመጀመሪያው ክላስ ውስጥ ከ8 እስከ 12 ሶስት ቫልዩዎች እዚህ ውስጥ አሉ፣ ግን ቫልዩዎቹ ምን እንደሆኑ አልተጠቀሰም። ስለዚህ ምንድነው እንደ ተወካይ የምንወስደው 10 ነው። 3 10ዎች እዚህ ውስጥ አሉ ማለት ነው። ከ13 እስከ 17 ደግሞ 4 ቫልዩዎች እዚህ ውስጥ አሉ። በዚህ ሬንጅ ውስጥ፣ በዚህ ኢንተርቫል ውስጥ፣ በዚህ ክላስ ውስጥ 4 ቫልዩዎች አሉ። እነኚህ ቫልዩዎች ምን እንደሆኑ አናውቅም። ስለማናውቅ የሁለቱም ቁጥሮች ክላስ ሊሚቶቹን አቨሬጅ እንደ ተወካይ እንወስዳለን። እስቲ 15 15 ናቸው ብለን አስዩም እናደርግ እንደማለት ነው። 4 15ዎች እዚህ ውስጥ አሉ ማለት ነው። So class marks can be considered as representative values of the respective classes. So mean አገኘን. The next step is what? After getting mean, find deviation of each class mark from mean. That means class mark minus mean. Class marks minus mean. እናቀናንሳለን እና ከዛ ስኩዌር እናደርጋለን። ኦኬ ስኩዌር ማድረጉን እንኳን ልናቆየው እንችላለን። ቢሆንም ጥሩ ነበር እዚህ ጋር ስኩዌር ሆኖ ቢሆን። Deviation of each class mark from mean. For example, for the first class mark is 10, mean is 20. Deviation means difference. 10 minus 20 is negative 10. When we square this, we get 100. When we multiply by frequency, we get 300. So in the same manner, frequency times square of deviations can be obtained for the remaining classes. 100 for the second, 0 for the third, 150 for the fourth, 200 for the fifth. So these are frequency times squared deviations. Frequency times squared deviation for each class. So what's the next step? Find the deviation of each class mark from the mean and the square. We did it. Then we sum these square deviations and እንደምራቸዋለን ወደ ታች እንደምራቸው 750 ይመጣል። We get 750 when we add them. And the last step, when we find standard deviation, is divide this sum by total number of observations, summation of frequencies. የፍሪኩዌንሲዎች ድምር 20 ነው። ይሄን ቁጥር ለ20 ስናካፍል ምን እናገኛለን? 750 ለ20 ስናካፍል ባይዘው ይሄ ለቫሪያንስ ነው እንጂ ስታንዳርድ ዲቪዬሽን ሲሆን ይሄ ለቫሪያንስ ነው። this for variance እዚህ ጋር አይቆምም። ለስታንዳርድ ዲቪዬሽን ስኩዌር ሩት ስር ማስገባት አለ f አለ። So divide the sum by total number of observation. 750 divided by 20 is 37.5. So this is variance. Standard deviation is square root of variance or square root of this number. And the answer is D. Next, given two sets of data say data A and data B, with ranges 15 and 15 respectively. That means their ranges are 15 each. And coefficient of range for A is 0.2 and that of B is 0.21. Then which of the following is true? The dispersion of A is slightly greater than that of B. Dispersion of B is slightly greater than that of A. Data A has the same dispersion as data B. No enough information. So in order to answer this problem, we have to know about the difference between absolute variation, absolute measures of variation, and relative measures of variation. Measures of variation are also called measures of dispersion. And measures of dispersion have different names: measure of dispersion, measure of variation, measure of variability, measure of spreadness, measure of scatteredness. All these are the same. These are statistical measures that are used to know the extent to which a data is scattered, the extent to which the values in a data set are scattered about the average value of the data. There are two broad classes of measures of dispersion. One class is called absolute measures of dispersion, the other class is relative measures of dispersion. Under absolute measures of dispersion, we have examples such as range, mean deviation, variance, standard deviation. All these are absolute measures of dispersion. And relative measures of dispersion include the following: coefficient of range, coefficient of mean deviation, coefficient of variance, coefficient of variation, coefficient of quartile deviation, coefficient of standard deviation. These are examples of relative measures of dispersion. And it's not relative measures of dispersion are better when we compare variability of two different data sets. When we compare variability of two different data, relative measures of dispersion are more used or more useful. So in this case, for the current problem, we have to use not the range. The range of these two data are the same. This does not show that their dispersions are the same, because we should not use range to compare their variability. We have to use their coefficient of range, because coefficient of range is a relative measure of dispersion. Coefficient of range for B is a little bit greater than, because it is 0.1, it's greater than coefficient of range for A. So data B is more dispersed. The higher coefficient of range, the more the data is dispersed. So the answer is B. Dispersion of B is slightly greater than that of A. Next problem. In a homogeneous population where there is a categorical difference, items are selected randomly in each category. In a homogeneous population where there is a categorical difference, items are selected randomly in each category. Which of the following describes the sampling method stated above? This problem is about identifying sampling techniques. There are different sampling techniques, but before that, we have to know what sample means in the first place. What is sample? And to know that, we have to know what population means. Population means the set of all individuals that are under some statistical study and ስታቲስቲካዊ ጥናት የሚመለከታቸው ነገሮች በሙሉ ሰዎች ሊሆኑ ይችላሉ ወይም ላይሆኑ ይችላሉ። አንድ ስታቲስቲካዊ ጥናት የሚመለከታቸው ነገሮች በሙሉ ወይም መደምደሚያ ላይ ለመድረስ መደምደሚያው የሚመለከታቸው ነገሮች በሙሉ population ይባላሉ። But sample is part of population from which data is drawn. የምንጠናው አንድ ትልቅ population ሊሆን ይችላል፣ ግን ዴታ ከሁሉም መሰብሰብ አይቻልም። ለምሳሌ የደም ምርመራ ሲደረግ ለአንድ ሰው በደም ውስጥ ወይም ለሆነ ጉዳይ የደም ምርመራ ሲደረግ ደሙን በሙሉ ቀርተን አንወስድም፣ ናሙናን አንወስድም። So sample is part of population. But how do we take sample from population? We use different techniques. There are generally two techniques: random sampling and non-random sampling. Random sampling is also called probability sampling. And in the case of random sampling, each members of the population are given chance to be included. They may or may not be included, but at least they are given chance. They are given chance to be included. And random sampling is opposite of this. And under random sampling or probability sampling, we have 4 main examples of random sampling. These are simple random sampling, systematic random sampling, stratified random sampling, and cluster random sampling. What is their difference? In the case of simple random sampling, each member of the population is given equal chance to be included in sample. Equal chance. Chance which I equal chance. ለምሳሌ በእጣ ሊሆን ይችላል። በአንድ ክፍል ውስጥ 100 ተማሪዎች ቢኖሩና ለሆነ ስታቲስቲካዊ ጥናት ዳታን ለመሰብሰብ 10 ተማሪዎች ቢፈልጉ 10 ተማሪዎች የተመረጡት በእጣ ከሆነ this is called simple random sampling. All individuals are given chance, equal chance to be included, but እድሉ ሁሉንም ሰው አያካትትም። እድል ቢሰጠውም የሚመረጠው ግን የተወሰነ ሰው ነው። this is called simple random sampling. In the case of systematic sampling, first we choose or we select one member randomly. ወይ በእጣ ሊሆን ይችላል። በሆነ መንገድ አንድ መንበር መጀመሪያ ይመረጣል። ከዛ በኋላ ግን በእጣ አይደለም፣ እኩል ኢንተርቫል እየዘለሉ መውሰድ ነው። ለምሳሌ በአንድ ክፍል ውስጥ 100 ተማሪዎች ቢኖሩና 10 ተማሪ ሳምፕል ውስጥ እንዲካተት ቢፈልግ 10 ተማሪ ስለሆነ የተፈለገው randomly አንድ ሰው እንመርጣለን። ለምሳሌ ከ1 እስከ 10 ካሉት ውስጥ በእጣ ሊሆን ይችላል። አንድ ሰው ተመረጠ እንበል። ለምሳሌ በሮል ነምበር ከሆነ ነምበር 2 ላይ ያለው ተማሪ ቢመረጥ ከዛ በኋላ ግን በእጣ እናደርግ 10 እየዘለል ሮል ነምበሩ 2 የሆነ ተማሪ ተመርጦ ከሆነ ቀጥሎ የሚመረጠው ሲደመር 10 አድርገን 12ኛ ቀጥሎ የሚመረጠው አሁንም 10 ደምረንበት 22ኛ እያል 10 እስኪሞላ ድረስ ሳምፕሉ ለሳምፕሉ የሚያስፈልጉ የሰዎች መጠን እስኪሞላ ድረስ እንቀጥላለን ማለት 10 ሰዎች ናቸው የተፈለጉት 10 እስኪሞሉ ድረስ። In the case of stratified and cluster sampling, we divide population into groups. In the case of stratified sampling, we divide the entire population into subgroups which are called strata. In the case of cluster random sampling, we divide the entire population into groups which are called clusters. ግን ልዩነት አለው። በስትራቲፋይድ ራንደም ሳምፕሊንግ ጊዜ ሳብ ግሩፖቹ ሄትሮጂኒየስ መሆን አለባቸው። ለምሳሌ በእድሜ ከፋፍለን ሊሆን ይችላል። በእድሜ ወይም በጾታ ሄትሮጂኒየስ የማይመሳሰሉ ሳብ ግሩፕስ መሆን አለባቸው። አካታች እንዲሆን ከየእድሜው ኢንተርቫል ሰዎች እንዲካተቱ ከፈለግ ለምሳሌ ከ1 እስከ 10 እድሜያቸው ከሆኑት ከ10 እስከ 20 ከ20 እስከ 30 እያል በእድሜ ከፋፈል። ስለዚህ ሄትሮጂኒየስ ነው፣ አይመሳሰልም። የተለያየ እድሜ ላይ ስላሉ ስትራታዎቹ የተለያዩ ናቸው ማለት ነው። በክላስተር ሳምፕሊንግ ጊዜ ደግሞ ተቃራኒ ነው። ለምሳሌ በአንድ ሀገር ውስጥ ያሉ ትምህርት ቤቶችን ለሆነ ጉዳይ ትምህርት ቤቶችን ማጥናት ብንፈልግ ለምሳሌ ተማሪዎች ከሪኩለም ላይ ያላቸውን አመለካከት ማጥናት ብንፈልግ የሃይስኩል ተማሪዎች በአንድ ሀገር ውስጥ ያሉ ሃይስኩሎች በጣም ብዙ ናቸው። ሁሉም ሃይስኩል ማካተት ይከብዳል። ግን ሃይስኩሎች ከሞላ ጎደል ይመሳሰላሉ፣ ተመሳሳይ ናቸው። አንድ ሃይስኩል ከሌላ ሃይስኩል ጋር በብዙ ነገር ይመሳሰላል። የሚያመሳስላቸው ብዙ ነገር አለ። ስለዚህ ከሁሉም ስኩል ዳታ መሰብሰብ አያስፈልግም። የተወሰኑ ስኩሎችን ብቻ ማካተት ነው። ስለዚህ እዚህ ጋር ክላስተርስ ሆሞጂኒየስ ናቸው፣ በስትራታዎች ሄትሮጂኒየስ ናቸው። In the case of stratified random sampling, after dividing the groups into the population into strata, which we select or we include each strata. We take the sample from each strata. ከየ ሳብ ግሩፑ የሚካተት መንበር ይኖራል። ለምሳሌ እዚህ ጋር ስንመለከት ከዚህ ግሩፕ አለ፣ ከዚህም ግሩፕ አለ፣ ከዚህም ግሩፕ አለ፣ ከዚህም ግሩፕ አለ። በክላስተር ጊዜ ግን እንደዚህ አይደለም አንዱ ክላስተር ራሱ ፖፑሌሽኑን የሚመስል ነገር ስላለው የተወሰኑ ክላስተሮችን ብቻ እናካትታለን ሙሉ በሙሉ ሌሎች ክላስተሮች ሊተው ይችላሉ ግን የሚመረጡትን ክላስተሮች ከመረጥ ሁሉም ኢንዲቪጁዋል ነሱ ውስጥ ያሉት ሳምፕልስ ይካተታሉ ስለዚህ ሁሉም ክላስተር አይመረጥም አንድ ግን ክላስተር ከተመረጠ እዛው ውስጥ ያሉ ሜምበርስ በሙሉ ሳምፕልስ ይካተታሉ በስትራቲፋይድ ጊዜ ግን ሁሉም ስትራታ ይካተታሉ ግን ከየስትራታው ሁሉም ኢንዲቪጁዋል አይወሰድም that is the difference so ይሄን ጥያቄ ለመመለስ እንችላለን አሁን ጥያቄው in a homogeneous population where there is categorical difference በካቴጎሪ ልዩነት አለው ስለዚህ and data is items are selected randomly in each category ከየካቴጎሪ item የሚመረጥ ከሆነ ይሄ የሚያሳየው stratified ነው መጀመሪያ ፖፑሌሽኑን በብዙ ሳብ ግሩፕ ከፈል ወይም ካቴጎሪ ከፈል ከየካቴጎሪ ግን የሚካተት አለ ስለዚህ stratified ነው በክላስተር ጊዜ ፖፑሌሽኑ በተለያየ ግሩፕ ውስጥ ከተከፈለ በኋላ ግን ሙሉ በሙሉ የሚተው ግሩፖች ይኖራሉ ለምሳሌ ይሄ ግሩፕ ሙሉ በሙሉ አልተመረጠም የተመረጡ ግሩፖች ካሉ ግን እነሱ ውስጥ ያሉ ኢንዲቪጁዋልስ በሙሉ ሳምፕልስ ይካተታሉ ኢንዲቪጁዋል አንመርጥም ማለት አንድ ግሩፕ ከተመረጠ ኢንዲቪጁዋል አይመረጥም ሁሉም ኢንዲቪጁዋል ሳምፕልስ ይካተታሉ በስትራቲፋይድ ጊዜ ግን ሁሉም ግሩፕ ውስጥ ሁሉም ሳምፕልስ የሚካተቱ ከየሳብ ግሩፑ አሉ ሳምፕልስ የሚካተቱ ከየሳብ ግሩፑ ሳምፕልስ የሚካተት ሜምበር ይኖራል that is a different so the answer for this problem is stratified sampling because each category ከየካቴጎሪ የሚካተት ሜምበር ካለ stratified ነው next problem which of the following shaded region represents the graph of the system of inequalities how to sketch graph of system of inequalities we follow certain procedures three steps first convert the inequalities into equations after that graph each inequality separately and after that graph of inequalities usually region and after that find the intersection of the regions these are the steps we follow for the present problem the inequalities are 2y plus x greater than or equal to 0 so convert this into equation make it is equal to 0 x minus y is equal to 3 y is equal to 0 when we sketch these lines we get 2x plus y is equal to 0 this line y is equal to 0 is x-axis x minus y is equal to 3 is this line it passes through x is equal to 3 and y is equal to negative 3 so these are the lines after that sketch each inequality separately እያንዳንዱ inequality ለየብቻ ሲስተሙን ሙሉ አንድ ላይ ሳይሆን 2y plus x greater than or equal to 0 inequality እንዴት ነው ይሄን ስኬች የምናደርገው አንድ ባውንደሪውን አግኝተናል 2y plus x is equal to 0 ባውንደሪ ነው ስለዚህ ከዚህ ላይን በላይ ነው በታች ያለው ሪጅን ነው ግራፉ ማለት ለማወቅ ሳምፕል ፖይንት ማስገባት ብቻ በቂ ሳምፕል ፖይንት ለምሳሌ እቺ ፖይንት ብናስገባ 0 ኔጌቲቭ 3 ኢኒኳሊቲ ውስጥ በx ቦታ 0 በy ቦታ ኔጌቲቭ 3 ስናስገባ ኔጌቲቭ 6 ግሬተር ዛን ኢኳል 0 ይመጣል ፎልስ ነው ስለዚህ ይሄን ፖይንት እንዳካተት አድርገን ነው ማለት ነው ግራፉን የምንሰራው እቺ ፖይንት ግራፍ ውስጥ መካተት ስለሌለባት ከዚህ ላይ በላይ ያለው ሪጅን ነው ግራፉ የማ የ2x plus y greater than or equal to 0 similarly graph of x minus y less than or equal to 3 is region above this line graph of y less than or equal to 0 is region below this line and the intersection of all these three regions region above this region below this and region above this is this shared region so it is I think A the answer is A next problem 57 which one of the following is the minimum value of the following linear programming problem okay to find the minimum value or optimum value minimum value of this linear programming problem we can use the following three steps first sketch feasible region that means the intersection of these inequalities the graph of these in 1 2 3 4 inequalities sketch them አሁን inequality እንዴት sketch እንደሚደረግ ስላየን system of inequalities እሱን መከተል ወደ equation መቀየር ሁሉ convert all inequalities into equations Then we get lines, different lines. After that, sketch each inequality separately. For example, y greater than or equal to negative x plus 4 means y is equal to negative x plus 4 is this line, and when it is greater than or equal to negative x plus 4, it should lie to one side of this line, part of the plane to one side of this line, means part of the plane below this line or above this line. It is above this line in this case. And similarly, if you sketch the remaining, you get region greater than or equal to above this line, region below this line, region above or to the left of this line, and region to the right of this line. The intersection of all these regions is this polygonal region. The intersection gives us. So this is called the feasible region of the problem. The second step is find vertices of the feasible region. Vertices. Since it is a polygon, it has vertices. The vertices are in this case A40, B55, the intersection of these two lines. Y is equal to 5x minus 20 and y is equal to 5 is 5. Similarly, C, this point is 1,5, and D, this point is 1,3. These are vertices of the feasible region. Step 3, evaluate the objective function, which means this function 3x plus y at the vertices. When we evaluate at A, that means A means 4, 0. When we evaluate at 4, 0, we get 3 times 4 plus 0, which is 12. The value of the objective function at A is 12. Similarly, at B it is 20, at C it is 8, at D it is 6. The smallest of all these values is 6, so the minimum value is 6, and it is D. The answer is D, 6. But why we compare only values at vertices? This is due to a theorem, which is called the fundamental theorem of linear programming. And that theorem says the minimum value of a linear programming problem occurs at boundary points, at vertices, at a certain vertex. No need of considering values at other points, interior points. We have to compare only values at vertices. Last problem for this video is this one, problem number 60. In order to safeguard the property of a lessor ማለት አከራይ, rent tax on income per year is set as per the following rate. This is about rental tax. Rental tax. There are different types of taxes. This problem is about rental tax. For a person who collects income from rental, an income of this much per 0 up to 7,200, there is no tax. It's exempted from taxation. If the income is in this range, tax rate is 10%, then 15%, then 20%. So the question is, in 2015 Ethiopian calendar, if a building was rented for 8 months at Birr 4,500 per month, what was the amount of rental tax paid at the end of the year? ለ8 ወራት በየወሩ 4500 በ4500 ብር የሚከራይ ህንፃ ያለው ሰው በአጠቃላይ ኢንካሙ ስንት ይሆናል? ከክራይ የሚያገኘው ኢንካም፣ ህንፃውን በማከራየት የሚያገኘው ኢንካም 8 times 4500 ይሆናል። ታክሰብል ኢንካሙ 8 times 4500 36000 ይሆናል። ከዛ የታክስ ካልኩሌሽን ፎርሙላ አለ። taxable income times tax rate minus deduction የተቀመጠ አለ እዚህ ጋር ለዚህ ሬንጅ የተቀመጠው 36000 ማለት it is in the third class, so the deduction is 1710. We apply this formula: taxable income times tax rate for the class 15% minus deduction. When you calculate this, we get 3690, so the answer is B. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe this channel, and if you have comments, write your comments and like the video.